Hello there, my beautiful pumpkins, and welcome back to the Pumpkin Patch. If you are new here, hello, my name is Kloee Taylor, and on this channel, I believe we have one of the most cozy, vibey, autumnal corners of the internet. So if you like my vibe, you like the way I read, you like my style, be sure that you hit that subscribe button so you can become a member of the Pumpkin Patch and get new videos every single week. So today's video, my beautiful pumpkins, I am thrilled. My energy is high. It is thriving because today's video is actually sponsored by Keen, and y'all already know that Keen has been a long, tried, true, trusted, and loved sponsor of this channel. Truly, Keen is probably one of my favorite sponsors to work with. So thank you so much, Keen, for sponsoring today's video. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about Keen before we get into the video. So first and foremost, today's video is all about what to release at this time, especially as we're coming into the new moon in Leo, which will be happening, I believe, today, the day that this video goes out. And yes, new moons are about bringing in new energy, but they're also about releasing anything that is keeping you from cultivating that new energy. So I thought it was really important to connect with that. Now, even if you're not listening to this right when the Leo new moon is happening, I believe that this video is timeless and that right when your soul needs to hear it, it will. That is the intention that I have set. So the thing that I also want to say is that if you find in this video that you're like, wow, I totally know what I need to release. This message was so for me, but I'm still having trouble identifying some things, or it feels like there might be more. I really want to encourage those of you that feel this way to check out Keen, because Keen is actually an online psychic service filled with psychics available to you at any time of the day, no matter what time of day it is. And you can get specific, customized, personalized readings. The psychics that are there use multiple different methods for how they connect with their own sense of divine guidance to help you. And genuinely, all of my experiences that I've ever had with Keen personally, I have loved. My favorite story that I love to tell was one of the craziest experiences I've had with another psychic. And that was, I went to a psychic on Keen and I was like really confused about where my path was headed, and especially about moving. And I asked this psychic, like I had some general ideas and I gave options, and I was like, should I go move here or here or here? And they literally told me Pacific Northwest specifically. They told me Washington State specifically, which y'all know that's where I moved to almost a year ago. I'm still there. And they also told me that I would be interested in holistic medicine. And this was something that I never saw coming. And I was like, no, that's like, no, I didn't say it to them, but I was like, no, like, that's not what I'm into. I'm into this stuff, And come like 4 months into my move or less, I got extremely invested in holistic medicine, and I'm still invested. I'm still learning, and it has been an avenue for me that has really opened me up to an even deeper spiritual practice than I had before. So I am like a full-fledged 1000% supporter and believer in Keen. I've used it for myself. It's helped me. The psychic that I connected with was completely wonderful. I've connected with others on the site as well that also gave me really insightful information. But that for me in particular was just like blew my mind out of the water. So Keen is extremely easy to use. It's available on mobile, it's available on desktop, and it helps you. Basically, Keen is just there for you. They're there to help you connect deeper with divinity, deeper with yourself, and to understand and unlock more about your path. And as a new customer to Keen, you can actually try your first 10 minutes for only $1.99, which is up to $99 in savings. I love that Keen offers this to y'all, and I hope that you will use it. Please use my link, trykeen.com/KhloeTarot, and please just try it. Just use it, especially if you're feeling this energy as we're coming into this new moon. Thank you so much, Keen, for sponsoring today's video. Now, let's talk a little bit more about this reading and get into it. So another exciting thing about this video is we are actually collaborating with Totally Kayt. And I don't even know if we've ever done a tarot collab on the channel. Actually, yes, we have. We've collabed with one other person, and those have also been incredible. But I'm so delighted to introduce you to Totally Kayt, as her content is just as warm and fuzzy and cozy as mine. And she is all about chasing her dreams and learning to chase her dreams, but taking you along for that journey. And I love that Kayt is extremely into not just like spiritual, witchy, mystical things. She's also really invested into gameplay, which if y'all know anything about me as a creator, the Sims game was my background online for the first 7 years before I got really invested into tarot card reading and spirituality. So Kayt is going to actually be doing a reading as well on her channel. So here we're going to be doing what you need to release. And her video is actually going to be gentle guidance for this time period. So I encourage you to check it out. I will be linking her video as well. And, you know, make sure you follow Kayt all over the place because she is such a lovely presence, a Cancer rising, which we adore, such a big heart and a big soul, to be honest. So she does have her TikTok, her Instagram, her YouTube channel, and her Twitch channel where she also does gameplay live streams. So please, please, please definitely check her out. Check out the corresponding video that she's putting out and send her, please, all of my love. Like, go into that comment section and just tell her that Kloee loves her, okay? She's truly one of my, like, she is one of my in real life friends as well, just like our other collaborator previously. She's somebody that I've actually met in person and we've been friends for years. So I'm just really grateful to have this opportunity to showcase her on my channel and also connect with her and have us get a few messages for you so you can have the full scope of this reading. But let's go ahead and get into it. So pile number 1, you have the white pumpkin right here. Pile number 2, you have the pine cone, and pile number 3, you have the orange pumpkin, because y'all know we're doing a fall in July kind of mood. So I wanted to give everything a very fall-esque type of vibe here today, as fall in July is almost over. But you know, it's never really over in our hearts. So don't feel like you have to pick just one. You can pick multiple. Some people listen to all of the readings and then decide at the end which reading was the appropriate one for them. So do what feels right to you. You know, maybe it's one of the selectors that's for you. Maybe you felt it just from the thumbnail which one was going to be for you. But ultimately, I really do believe that these piles, there is going to be something here for you that will open you up to releasing so that you can connect with your truest version of self. And I'm going to go ahead and turn up the meditation music for you, and then we're going to get into it. Hello there, pile number one. If you chose the white pumpkin, this is going to be your reading on what to release at this time because, sometimes that's just really what we need. And for you, we're starting out, and I know these cards are a little bit dark. I really thought with the new lighting that these would show up better, but I'm still like, honestly, if I'm being totally truthful with you, I feel like it's just time to replace the camera, and I'm just not in the position to do it right now. I feel like the camera is really what needs replacing, though, is she's just outdated and it's time. But we have for you Justice, Three of Wands, Ace of Wands, and the Nine of Coins. So in terms of what to release, and we do have oracle cards I'll get into as well, but what Spirit is saying to you is, number one, balance is a myth. And I know that like is such a hard thing to hear because I feel like a lot of us have been very conditioned to believe that balance is something that is completely achievable. And here's the thing. Our lives, we are not meant to just be running towards balance constantly. We don't always have to be in healing mode. And your life is the embodiment of what balance should look like. You don't have to do anything special to achieve it. And balance in and of itself in today's world and how we've created it and how our human existence is, it's not real. Whenever we get something and we feel like it's finally in perfect balance, something else usually needs a little bit of shifting, and that's normal. It's a normal part of the human experience. And the moment you find bliss is when you realize that everything is always changing. Everything is always becoming slightly offset. You always have something to move towards or to strive towards, and that's okay. Now, there are going to be moments of rest in that. You're not just going to be constantly running around trying to, because I feel like right now that's what you're trying to do, is run around and balance every single little area of your life. And that is a beautiful effort that you're making towards your life. But you're going to be doing that forever. And it's going to cause you to burn out if you have this unrealistic expectation that eventually you'll find peace. Peace is created in the moment right now. It's not something that you do, it's something that you be. So I feel like there is this expectation of balance being an achievable thing or a state of being. And it technically can be created, but it's created in the non-attachment to everything being perfect. So I guess I shouldn't say that balance isn't achievable. I believe that it is, but it is when we accept that nothing will ever be in perfect balance all the time, that we're actually able to find that sense of balance, that sense of peace, that sense of clarity. The Three of Wands tells me that the Three and the Ace of Wands tell me that you need to let go of this imposter syndrome that has risen up in you, because the Ace and the Three, they're the beginning stages of the Suit of Wands. And I get the indication from Spirit that you're somebody that has done a lot. You've created a lot. You've maybe created and recreated and recreated and recreated yourself or an aspect of your life in multiple ways. And you keep convincing yourself that you're a beginner. You're not. You're not a beginner. You're selling yourself short, and you need to let go of this idea that you're always going to be at the beginning line. You're not a beginner. You have actually come extremely far. And it's really important to look back at yourself even 1, 2, 3, 5 years ago and see who you are and where you are now. Look at the progress that you have made. You're not a beginner. And this idea that you are is stifling you. And then we have the Nine of Coins, which if it's something to let go of, I'm also getting the message from Spirit before we move on that I don't know if you can see it in the card. Yeah, you can. There's hands here with eyes coming out, and then hands here with eyes coming out. And your hands, if you didn't know, are an extension of your heart chakra. And you are somebody that feels like you have to give and give and give and give, and you put yourself last every single time. Maybe you're really you're really connected to your heart chakra when it comes to other people and being a giver or a caretaker, but you need to start putting those hands on yourself. And like literally just putting your hand over your heart, that creates a continuous energy loop of the energy coming from your heart, coming out your hands, going back into your heart. You need to start closing the loop and giving it more to yourself. This idea that you always have to give to everybody else to be a good person is something that has been ingrained in you from early on. And here's a secret, y'all. This is something that I feel like I really need to probably make a podcast episode on when the podcast comes off of hiatus, whenever that is, where, and I think I've maybe even said this to y'all before, but I want to like dedicate a piece of content to it because it's something that I had to learn the hard way, is that when you show up for yourself, when you're not used to it, when you're used to putting yourself last always, not only does this make you the worst version of yourself. You're angry, you're depleted, you're burnt out. Sometimes it can lead to anxiety and depression as well. I'm not trying to clinically diagnose anybody. I'm not a therapist. And do not use my readings in place of that, please. But it can lead to very serious things if we're not actually giving to ourselves first. And it's going to feel uncomfortable. If you have been taught that you always have to be a well of like a giver for everyone, you will just continuously deplete yourself. And that turns you into a version of yourself that you will begin to not recognize because you will lose your sense of self. And when you start to show up for yourself, it's going to feel fucking uncomfortable. And I'm sorry to those of you that don't like it when I curse. In my everyday life, I cuss like a sailor. So it is what it is. And I will not, actually, I take it back. I don't apologize for that. Like, that is my authentic expression of self. And what are we here for? Authenticity. My energy is not for everyone, and that's okay. That's more for me than for you. But the point is that it's going to feel like you're falling apart when you start to do it. It's going to feel really, really hard. And the thing is, you have to get to a place where you can sit with that discomfort, because that is where the healing happens, is when you allow yourself to sit with the discomfort and honor it. And eventually that discomfort will tell you exactly what it needs. I promise this to you. When you sit with that uncomfortable feeling, it will eventually unfurl and tell you what it needs. And it might come with like, you might have to do this for several weeks before you get the answer. And you just have to keep showing up for yourself anyways. And that is how you will start to get there. That is how you will start to be a giver to yourself, is by doing it even when it feels like it will destroy you. Now, granted, I'm never going to tell you to make yourself feel sick or make yourself feel dangerously uncomfortable. I always recommend getting help. Talking to somebody if you're able, even if it's a trusted family member, or having a support system around you. That's going to be step number one if you feel that that is what is going to happen. Even if you have to just talk to your partner and be like, hey, I'm really going to start putting myself first, and it would help me if you didn't make comments like this towards me, or it would help me if, A, B, C, D, whatever it is, and set down the appropriate boundaries first. I'm just trying to give you practical tools because I know how hard this work can be, and take it from somebody who has been there and knows it's hard. And it can feel dangerous because it is truly an act of rebellion in today's world to care for yourself when you have been conditioned to be a people pleaser or somebody that caretakes for everybody but yourself. So that's what I have first and foremost. And this is amazing that this is coming up during a Leo new moon, because Leo is truly all about self-love. That is the gift that Leo gives to the zodiac, is it shows us how we should be loving ourselves. And we also have for you first quarter moon in Cancer, push through any insecurities. So literally what I just said. This card also has I want to say this is the third eye chakra. Don't quote me on that. We also have the last quarter moon in Cancer, take a breather. So also take time out for yourself in general. And we also have full moon in Pisces, forgive. So you need to forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for not being the person you thought you would be by the time you are as old as you are right now, no matter what that age is. Because I think there is a big part of you that really, really leans heavily into self-criticism, and you're not gentle with yourself at all. And that what happens when you're not gentle with yourself is you in turn will not be gentle with other people, or behind the scenes, even if you don't say it to them, you'll become judgmental of other people behind their back. And that just feels good. No, that doesn't feel good. That doesn't feel good inside your body. So forgive. You might even find that you have Pisces or Cancer placements in your big three, Sun, Moon, Rising, but forgiving yourself and making space for yourself even when it's scary. We also have for you chop wood and soulmates. So with chop wood, this is funny. I laughed. I'm a Gemini moon. I'm sorry. Every time I laugh during a reading, it's not because I want to like make fun of you. It's because it's a little uncomfortable, and that's how Geminis deal with uncomfortability. It's like involuntary. I'm somebody that literally gets the funeral giggles. Like, it's really inappropriate, and I'm sorry. I'm not laughing at you, I promise. But oh, look, and it's 41 and 42, so a progression too. Chop wood is all about hard work, because you think about that. Unless you're somebody that is literally a lumberjack or a lumberjane or a lumber person out there chopping wood every day, most likely you think that that is some hard labor intensive work. And I'm telling you, the work that I am advising you on with this reading, that Spirit is advising you on, it's hard work. It's not that they call it work because it is work. And committing to it is the greatest gift you'll ever give to yourself. But it is not going to come easily. And part of your life mission is actually to unfurl this. And the sooner you get started, the better and better it's going to be. Because here's the thing, time is going to pass anyways, whether you choose to commit to yourself in this way or not. So do you want to start living in alignment with yourself from this moment forward, or do you want to take another 4 years to get there? Don't get me wrong. I think it's okay to go slow and to pace yourself in. But if you've been receiving this message for a long time, this is kind of like the wake-up call. Spirit is like, no, you really need to be here and listen, because there is something important here. So then we have for you soulmates, which I think is really interesting, because for some of you, the first message I got when I pulled this card out is that a lot of the reason you don't commit to this work is because you feel like you have to be on this never-ending quest to find a missing piece of yourself, because you have this concept that your soulmate is a half version of you. That is your missing half. The thing is, that's not how soulmates work. And I hear this a lot in the spirituality community with twin flames as well. That's why I don't like to talk a lot about twin flames, because there is a horrendous misconception about missing your other half. And no, you're not a half. You're not a half. You are a whole and complete individual on your own. And your soulmates can be anybody. They don't have to be a romantic partner. They can be a family member. They can be a platonic friendship. And soulmates are people that are also whole and complete individuals on their own, but you come together with them to create beautiful things as your whole and complete beings. And this is coming to you because you're not acting in this way for yourself, and it's depriving you, and it's depriving people, your other soulmates out in the world. It's depriving them of your greatness. And this is not meant to shame you. This is meant to give you a perspective that maybe you didn't have. You know, I don't do shame on my channel. We don't do shame here, even if I don't sugarcoat things for you, because I really try not to do that. I don't believe in shame. I think it is a useless thing that society uses as a control tactic. It helps no one, and people will sit in their shame and not get the help that they actually need. So if anything in this reading is causing you to feel shame, I would actually encourage you to exit out. and to find somebody else to read for you, because that is never my intention. And I'm feeling that energy deep in my gut right now, that some people hearing that are feeling shamed, and that is never my intention. So I just wanted to say that I'm hearing that it's about 2 people. So the 2 of you that feel this way, this message just maybe isn't for you. And I'm never trying to elicit shame. Now, the next few cards are just more things to let go of. We have for you Ghost. We have Mystery. And Energy. Okay, this is a very specific message first off the bat. You might have a history in like ghost hunting. Like that's like your thing, is mysteries and ghost hunting. And if this is you, this might just be one person, literally. If this is you and you are just not feeling it anymore, you don't want to be invested in it anymore, it's okay to let go of that path. You don't have to go on ghost hunting adventures every weekend to be valid and valued. It's okay to not go forward on that if you feel like it's draining you. That might just be like even a career path that you need to let go of. And for others of you, I also am hearing with Ghost and Mystery, because these very much go together, and Energy. There might be, I'm not trying to scare anybody. There might be like a mysterious energy that you feel, a presence that you feel, an energetic thing that you feel, a ghost presence that you feel if you believe in ghosts. And Spirit is actually saying that you need to cleanse your home and yourself, because this energy hangs around with you. It's not trying to hurt you. It feels your energy as a comforting presence, and it hangs around you because of that. And it will sap your energy. And literally, as I'm saying this, I just saw a huge yellow butterfly fly across my window. And I feel like for you, this is actually something that will be transformational when you do it. You're going to be like, wow, I feel so much lighter. I can't believe it. I can't believe that was even real. But there is a presence that likes to hang around you for that reason. It's almost like misery loves company, except you're not really that miserable. And this energy like feeds off of you. It could be an ancestor that you need to lovingly like say, you can hang out with me sometimes, but this all the time thing is not okay. I will do that when I feel an energetic presence. I will literally talk to it like it's in the room if I can't see anything, and because I can feel, I'll be like, listen, it's cool that you want to hang out with me. I respect your space, but you need to respect mine. If I could give you a great example on this, there was a presence that me and my husband both felt in this apartment. And I think it could have been one of our ancestors, to be honest. I'm not sure which side. We didn't really dig that deep, but we both felt it in the kitchen and in the like dining area in our apartment. Like sometimes it would be seated at the table, sometimes it would just be in the kitchen. And we told this presence, hey, it's cool if you're here. If you want to be here, if you want to hang out, it's cool that you're here, but you need to respect our boundaries. Like no freaking us out at night, no coming into our bedroom whatsoever. And I basically said that during office hours in my office, not allowed. And then my husband had his own specific boundaries. But sometimes you have to be a little bit more serious with it, because this presence did not respect the boundary one night and totally came and like rubbed my husband's back when I was in my office working and he was resting. It freaked him out, and he came over to my office and he was like, it just touched me, like straight up rub my back. Honestly, it was probably a grandparent or something was the feeling I got, one of his grandparents specifically, but he didn't like it and it scared him. So we got out all of our cleansing tools. We lovingly and respectfully asked for that presence to leave. And that was just kind of the end of it. Like we haven't noticed that presence come back at any point in time. We tried to make it work and it didn't work. So that's kind of the vibe I get with this is it doesn't mean that this energy is here to hurt you, but sometimes that energy can be taxing on us, whether it's fear, whether it's maybe this is somebody you loved and lost and their energy hanging around actually causes you grief. It's okay to let that presence go. And I also have for you, ooh, this is interesting. I don't know if I've ever seen this card. We're going to read this one out of the book because I don't know all of these cards and they're so freaking juicy. They're so good. I wanted to give y'all a card from this deck because it's just a great deck. This is Ending. I don't know if you can see the imagery. They change. They're really cool. This is from the Threads of Fate Empyrean deck, one of my personal favorites that we do use periodically on the channel. But I think it's interesting that you got the card of Ending when we're looking at what to let go of. It just seems really nail on the head, you know? So with Ending, this card says, there is always a rebirth with every ending. Oh my gosh, and you had a butterfly come in through your reading, which is all about rebirth. But this card, oh, never mind. But this card is not about that. Too often we try to dress up endings in soft language that make it more palatable and easier to swallow because somewhere in our minds we believe we are not strong enough to handle it. Do not dare to think that you are too soft to live through any ending. So ending this need to care for everybody and not yourself, you're strong enough to handle it. You need to stop telling yourself that you can't. Bathe in the ash of the ending. Let the full force of it hit you. Feel the weight of it. Stand within it. Acknowledge it for what it is or what it was. Not all endings live fresh within us. When we have the courage to stand in nothingness, this is the end. We are putting on armor. When we face it again and again, we become life itself. Nothing can be stripped from us. We are everything and nothing at the same time. We see, truly, that there is no ending or beginning, only what is. Ooh, I got the chills. I'm going to let that card be its own message because I think everybody has an idea of how it fits into their perspective, and I want you to have that. And the last two cards I have for you are a couple of affirmations that will help you during this release, and that is, my vibes speak louder than my words. So this might even be why this energy is attached to you, because your vibes actually are really high, right? Also more butterflies. I do think the butterfly is significant to you. Maybe you love butterflies, or you, hearts too, I'm hearing, like hearts and butterflies. It could be a symbol for you of something specific. It's just more confirmation that this is your reading. And then we also have pain, attack, pain, fear, judgment, and any form of separation are merely calls for help. Ooh, let me read that again. Attack, pain, fear, judgment, and any form of separation are merely calls for help. So this goes the same with that feeling, that uncomfortable feeling when you start to care for yourself that comes up. It is merely a call for help. It's not meaning that you're doing something wrong. It's a call for help because you have to identify for yourself what needs helping. I swear to you, you could mark my words on it. If you show up to that work, I believe even for 10 days straight, you will get an answer as to what is going on. You will get an answer from your body on why you feel such guilt and discomfort. And like I said, I feel like I need to make a whole podcast on it because it was such an eye-opening thing for me going through that experience. But I feel like I am the right person to channel this message because I understand where you're coming from. And that is what I have for you, my beautiful pumpkin. So thank you so much for tuning in. I love you. I appreciate you. Please do not forget, when you stand on your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. Don't forget to check out Keen with my link, trykeen.com/KhloeTarot for $1.99 for your first 10 minutes, a $99 savings, and get your deal. And don't forget to check out my friend Kayt's video, who is doing the counterpart to this video. So you get two 2 readings in one, and she has lovely energy, trust me. So don't forget to check out all of that. If you would like to join me more around the web, I do have my Patreon available to you, where we actually just put out a new exclusive reading that I worked really hard on, that I really feel like y'all are going to get so much out of it. I also have my website for personal readings if you ever want to book with me, KhloeTaylor.com. I have my Instagram, my TikTok, where you can follow me at Kloee Taylor. And if you would like to help me out in any other ways that are so beneficial to this channel and to my personal well-being, I have my Cashapp, PayPal, and my what is that? A Venmo available to you if you'd like to tip me for my readings. Never an expectation, but I genuinely so wholeheartedly appreciate any abundance that you send towards me. I pour it back into the channel unless you tell me to do something different with it. And I also have my wish list, where I do have like decks on there, things that actually help me get my workday done. If you ever want to provide something to me that is actually on my list of things that I would buy for myself, I actually do buy for myself from my own wish list all the time. So I leave that link to you down below as well if you would like to help me out in that way. Again, never an expectation, but I so appreciate your generosity. And last but certainly not least, please join the Discord. If you have not joined our Discord community, we have over 250 members now, and we just launched like maybe a week and a half ago. It is such a fun little community. I love all of our literally daily interactions. I am checking that Discord every day. We share recipes, we share books, we share music, we have deep conversations about witchcraft. If you would like to join our little community, it would be such an honor to have you. So link for that down below. Do make sure that you agree to the rules inside of the Discord so you can start actually posting. And yeah, that is what I have for you, pumpkin. Have a fantastic, magical, amazing new moon, or whatever time of the month it is for you. And I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye. Hello there, my beautiful pumpkin, and welcome to your reading. If you chose I forgot to change it out. If you chose the pine cone, not the white pumpkin, this is going to be your reading of what to release. So we have the Lovers, the Eight of Coins, the Devil, and the Nine of Wands. So I know these ones are a little bit hard to see. I apologize. I said this to pile number 1. I actually think it's time, truly, for us to replace the camera that we use for this channel. I've been talking about it for a couple of years, but I really think it's time to actually like dedicate a full-fledged budget and start working towards it intently, because I hate that these don't show up as well as I'd like them to on camera, because they are so gorgeous. But in any case, we're still going to talk about them, and then I've got some oracle cards for you too. So the Lovers, the Eight of Coins, the Devil, and the Nine of Wands. What this tells me is, number 1, if you chose this pile, your shadow work that you need to be working on right now and releasing, number 1, it is shadow work. There is a shadow that is coming up being expressed, and you're a workaholic. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to call you out like that, to call you out of lurk in your own chat. I'm sorry. You're a little bit of a workaholic and you're overdoing it, and it's to the point that you push everyone and everything away to get these tasks done. And I totally feel you. I myself fall into this pitfall periodically, but in order to move forward right now and to love yourself more, which is really what the Leo new moon is about, you have to be willing to let go of your attachment to all of the things that you think you should be doing or need to be doing, especially if you're somebody that's an entrepreneur that manages your own business. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't people that have 9-to-5s or whatever time of day that aren't crazy with long, extensive hours, underpaid, overworked, etc. But I also feel like a lot of you that are into entrepreneurship, you are literally managing all of the tasks, because you are the customer care, you are the vice president, the president, you are every single role. And that's what this Eight of Coins is showing me. And you're holding all the threads and you're hanging on by a thread, basically. So this is coming up to the surface for you because at one point in time, this was something that made you feel extremely fulfilled, but it no longer serves you, and it's actually depleting your energy really badly. So maybe even me saying this, you're feeling very defensive about it with this Nine of Wands. Nine of Wands is getting very like defensive, protecting your territory, protecting yourself. There is nothing wrong with protecting yourself. However, when it gets to the point that you have no room for fun, this is like going on vacation, but taking all of your work with you and not allowing yourself the space to just enjoy being alive because you are working so much. And the shadow is surfacing because there's somebody in your life that taught you to behave like this. And it could be a parent, a mentor, maybe a friend's parent, somebody early on in your life taught you to behave this way, and that it was the only way that you would succeed is to overwork yourself like this. So Spirit is saying that you are the person that is going to stop this pattern. You are not going to continue to repeat this and make this your life or your lifestyle. And so that's why it is a huge shadow for you, is because you are not meant to carry this on. You are actually meant to stop this dead in its tracks and become the wholly embodied version. I mean, gosh, I feel like I just want to hug you if you chose this pile, because I feel like I get this. Maybe you can relate to this, but in my own household, I grew up with a workaholic father that to this day, he is in his early 70s. He is still a workaholic. And my mother is somebody that is extremely unmotivated. And I have these two extreme examples. And I feel like me being at the center as the child, right? Fibonacci sequence. Me being the child of these two, I embody both aspects. And those become my shadows. Those become the parts of me that I can easily slip into if I'm not balancing those two aspects, right? And what a beautiful message for creating yourself, creating your own story, releasing this idea that you have to be everybody's everything. And especially in your workforce, you have to be the person always picking up the slack. You always have to be the person doing the absolute most. And if you are somebody that creates your own schedule, I know that we live in a time and a period where hustle culture really was on the rise for the last decade, maybe more. We're starting to get to a more embodied, unified place where we are embracing the divine feminine. We're also embracing the divine masculine. And we're coming to a place where we allow that deep sacred rest while we also have periods of time where we hustle a little bit. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with embodying both aspects, but doing so in a way that allows you the time and space to be your most authentic self. And embracing that is actually going to get you there. I would actually encourage, if you chose this pile and you have a hard time disconnecting, to listen to pile number 1 as well. I think that's honestly why this pumpkin was still here, as I was supposed to tell you that your pile was also pile number 1. And that pile will really talk to you a lot more about how to embody giving more to yourself, resting, and not working so hard. That one was a little bit about caring for others more, but yours is just with caring for your work more than you're valuing yourself. Now, we also have the first quarter moon in Sagittarius. Believe in your good luck. New moon in Aries. Go for it. Last quarter moon in Aquarius. Reflect on your priorities. So these... what's funny is I feel like you're being told not to work as much, but the thing is, with releasing, you have to release this, I have to go, I have to hustle, gotta do it. Because fire signs, Sagittarius and Aries, that's kind of their whole thing. Go, do, express, push through the fire, right? And you're being asked to let go of this mentality of pushing, of hustling, and really stepping into this this space of believing that you can attract what it is that you desire by shutting down the things that you don't desire. So even in work, maybe you're somebody that feels like if you don't do a certain thing, you're going to go broke and not be able to pay your rent, or you're going to struggle really, really hard to make ends meet because you've probably done that before. So you're scared of it. But the thing is, if you actually shut the door on the things like overworking, you're going to make so much more room for abundance to naturally find its way to you in a way that you're not forcing. Because I do think that this is definitely a little bit about money. There is some scarcity mindset here, which is totally normal. I think a lot of us deal with, especially financial or abundance scarcity. Many, many, many of us deal with this. I mean, it's constantly what is being pumped into media as well. And did you forget? Like, I almost want to say, like, baby, did you forget that you literally are the fountain of abundance? We talk about currency and its connection to water. We use water to talk about the flow of abundance and money, right? Don't you realize that you are literally something like 80-90% water? You are abundance. You are currency. And when you start to let yourself believe in that fortune and in yourself, you don't have to work so hard to get what you want. And reflect on your priorities. This is also about, in the releasing, you need to strip everything down to its bare minimum. If there are projects that you handle that maybe somebody else is supposed to handle, or you can reduce them completely, like get rid of them, this is your time to do that. Take stock of the priorities that you want to keep, whether you're in business or working for somebody else. Maybe talk to your boss about reducing certain things because it is too much. There's definitely something about doing, I don't want to say the bare minimum because I think that that sounds bad, but actually, yes, doing the bare minimum, doing what is only required of you, and spending the rest of your energy taking care of yourself and letting yourself rest. That is where this healing is going to happen. Then we have Truth Be Told. Ooh, card number 14. I love a 14. And Milk and Honey, card number 51. So, truth be told, this is about being honest. In order to release where you are, you need to get very honest with yourself, even if you don't want to see it. I had an insane experience that I would love to share with you when I was dealing with, like, for months, I would draw the Father card out of my Dreams of Gaia deck. And I kept being like, why? Why are you here? Why is this coming up? Like, I understand my father had really toxic working habits. Like, I'm not him. I don't get it. And I kept just saying, like, okay, I get it. Okay, I get it. And then I kept asking, where is like the source of these uncomfortable feelings? Where is the source of these anxious feelings that I was having continuously daily? And I kept pulling this same card. And then one day it just hit me. Like, I was literally like taking off my makeup for the day, prioritizing myself for once. And it hit me. Oh, your inner child and your inner teen are fucking pissed. And again, I'm not going to apologize, just like pile number 1, for saying a curse word. That is who I authentically am in my day-to-day life. I don't expect you to talk like that, but that's me. Pissed, absolutely rage-filled, especially my inner teen, pissed. Because I realized that even though I am not my father exactly, I'm not him exactly, you know, I don't abuse in the same way or at all the way that he did. Maybe there are certain aspects that I have defeated in my own life and how I choose to behave, but I realized that I was being a workaholic. I was overworking myself, and my inner child didn't feel safe because my father was always angry because he to this day overworks himself and then takes it out on everybody else. And my inner teen was rage filled about the same thing. So every time I overworked myself, those parts of myself were screaming, but I couldn't figure out why. And I had to learn, oh, you really require a lot more peace, like, so we can all be in harmony together. Because nobody talks about that, or maybe some people do, but nobody talks about how when your inner child is like healed and is feeling good, that inner teen comes up right quick, and she is full of rage. So, or he or they is full of rage. So that was a really interesting experience, and one that you may resonate with. Maybe it's not your father, maybe it's somebody else, but have you become a certain aspect of somebody in your life that taught you to behave this way? Because you need to remove the mask and get very honest with what's going on the inside, because your body is communicating with you. That is where the release point is going to happen. Because look at this owl with the windows open, right? Owls represent wisdom. So it is the wisdom to remove the mask and open yourself up to releasing and understanding. And milk and honey, this says that you're going to lead yourself directly into feeling like you reach out and touch life, life touches you immediately back. This is delighting in small and simple pleasures and feeling all around joyful because you have released. So good. I see this as a good thing, but it might take some effort to get there. Then we have disruption. Actually, I'll put this one here. We have disruption, anxiety, and stop. Oh my gosh. Oh, okay. First and foremost, I always have to say, I am not a therapist. Please do not use my readings in place of that. However, we do talk about complex anxiety sometimes. We do talk about depression. We do talk about mental wellness, because I myself did study psychology for a while because I thought I was going to go to school to become a therapist, or at least like get a degree in psychology. And I believe that we can use tarot to open ourselves up to our own inner depths. And so we do talk a lot about mental health here, but please remember, if you are seeking help, to reach out for help. I am not meant to be used in that way because I am not a licensed professional. But these are coming out because you do have an internal, like, anxious or worrisome feeling, and you probably feel it in your body. Do you ever notice that when you feel like you're feeling the feelings of worry or anxiety, you feel it in the body somewhere? Mine, for me, always shows up right at the base of my rib cage, like right in the solar plexus, where we store personal power and our ability to manifest, like more abundance there. Or it hits me right in the, like, it's my lower three chakras. My upper three chakras, golden. For some of you, that's going to happen in the throat. For some of you, it's going to be in the heart. For some of you, it will be higher up and beyond, depending on what you've experienced in your life. But there's always a place in the body that disrupts, that feels uncomfortable. Uncomfortable. And the reason for that is your body is sending you a message. It's sending you a message to work to clear this energy out, to unfurl it. I'm telling y'all, you are really heavily linked with pile number one. You are meant to unfurl this energy and to let it breathe. And in order to do that, you have to let yourself tell yourself the truth. Remove the mask, let yourself be gentler, let yourself come down from basically using work as a coping mechanism. You're literally being told to stop, to acknowledge the anxiety, and to acknowledge the inner disruption that's happening, because you continue to ignore it and fill your day with activities, and it's keeping you from actually moving forward in the way you want to. It literally keeps you from receiving more things in business or in your line of work. It's putting a damper there on purpose because you are meant to acknowledge. And we also have for you the card of Endure. And I really wanted to incorporate these cards into today's reading because I just think they're so freaking amazing. I'm not going to lie to you. I kind of hate this card. I have seen it myself multiple times when I have read for myself. But I'm going to read it to you. It's not a bad card. It's just, you know how sometimes you have, if you're somebody who reads, you get it, but sometimes you'll have cards in tarot really follow you around, and it could just get annoying after a while. Kind of like my father card debacle that I talked to you about. But Endure, this is number 40. So fours could be significant to you in some way. But we're just going to see what comes up here. So Endure. I'm just going to read it to you from the book because I love the messages of this deck. It says, keep going. Like a desert road that stretches on for miles, it may not seem like there's an ending in sight, but trust that there is. To endure is to take the next breath, to willingly turn the other cheek, to resolutely accept. It's not about giving in, it's about getting back up each time, knowing it will happen again. We get stronger each time we stand. We are enduring this battle knowing that we will win the next one. Like a warrior in training whose body is being put through brutal adversity so that they will be prepared. It's not glamorous, but there is magic in simply getting through, of moving towards the sun but not feeling its heat yet. Our ancestors all had to journey, to traverse the harsh landscapes that sprawled on endlessly, uncertain if their lifeline would be severed too soon, but they still endured. The same strength flows through your veins. Ooh, I got the chills. Let it rise within you, and when you doubt it, think of them and keep going. So you're being told not to give up. Like, don't quit your daydream, don't quit your job, don't quit your line of work unless you genuinely feel called. But there might be a period right now where you do have to endure a little bit more. And I know that's hard. When I see this card, I know that this is somebody, you are somebody that you have really had to go through hell. Because if this card is popping out, you've endured a lot and you're tired, you're done, you're frustrated, you want out. And you're being asked to simplify and endure for a little bit longer. But remember that this card even said that to you. There is, where'd it go? It said, like a desert road that stretches on for miles, it may not seem like there's an ending in sight, but trust that there is. So this time period will end. Things will not be this way forever. But right now, as you're really struggling to release this work mode, this overworking, being honest with yourself, really paying attention, it might feel like this feeling is going to follow you forever. Like you're going to feel this way forever. You need to just allow yourself to be with it. Again, pile number one, I really do get a strong sense that this shit is linked because we talked about very similar themes, just in a different way. And when we endure, it's uncomfortable. It sucks. Everybody hates to endure, I swear to you. But there's magic in that resilience as well. And you are precious. You are amazing. You are worthy of gentleness and peace, and you will get there. Literally, endure the desert road to get to the land of milk and honey, to get to the land where there is a wellspring of water, where there are pools and pools of refreshing springs to quench your thirst. You are going to get there, but there's a little bit farther that you have to go. And it could be getting in and doing this work, Then we have a couple of affirmations for you to close out the reading. We have, when I lean on certainty and faith, I change my mind about the world I see. And we have, I witness the darkness. I call on the light with my prayer. Thank you, universe, for guiding me to perceive this fear through the eyes of the teacher of love. So those are some affirmations that will help you on your path at this time. If you want to use them, feel free. And that is what I have for you, pile number two. Thank you so very much for tuning in. Please do not forget, when you stand on your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. Don't forget to check out Keen, Kloee Tarot, excuse me, trykeen.com/Kloee Tarot to get your first 10 minutes for only $1.99. And that is a savings of $99, which is amazing, or up to $99, which is amazing. Don't forget to check out Kayt's video, Totally Kayt's. I will be linking all of her things down below to get the other part of this reading and send her all of my love. If you would like to get more of me around the web, please come and check out our Patreon, where we have exclusive readings, weekly content. We're doing a summer ween event on July 31st as a community. I would love to have you. I love the Patreon. I love what we do there. I actually just released a new reading there this week that is for patrons only, and I'm really proud of it. I feel like I really channeled some beautiful messages for y'all. So please go over there, join the Patreon, join the event. Don't forget to check out my website if you would like to book a personal reading with me. I'm at KhloeTaylor.com. It's where you can book with me. It's the only place you can book with me. If you would like to send any more love and generosity or abundance my way, it is never expected of you, but certainly always appreciated. I have my Cashapp, Venmo, and PayPal listed down below for you. I do accept tips for my readings, but it is not an expectation. And I also have my wish list where I actually shop from my own wish list for myself, but I leave it down there for y'all because some of y'all like to give gifts in that way, where those are things that I either already will purchase myself when I have the financial means to do so, or they're things that I continuously buy to fuel myself. Like there's like food items on there that I use to get like my day completed. There's tarot decks on there, all kinds of stuff. So if you'd like to send a gift my way, again, I don't expect you to do it, but I certainly appreciate those of you that do. It means so much to me. And I feel like there's something else I'm forgetting. Oh, the Discord. If you haven't followed the Discord fam, what are you doing? The link is down below for you. It is such a fantastic community that we have there. Literally, I think we opened maybe a week and a half ago. We have 250 members. It's free. You can use it on Android, Apple, desktop. It's free. We have a chat for food pictures. We have a chat for witchcraft. We have a chat for emotional venting if you need a space. We have a general chat where you can just talk to anyone there. And we really have such a lovely community. I'm literally on the Discord every single day. I check it every single day. I put my own food pictures in there. We have such a good time vibing as like-minded individuals. And even some people that have polarizing views. You know, we make room for everybody in the community. But truly, if you have not joined the Discord, please do it and make sure that you agree to the rules once you get in. Link is going to be down below, but make sure you agree to the rules. Otherwise you can't type in any of the chats. So you do have to read through those first. Some of y'all were having some questions about that. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram, on TikTok. I am at Kloee Taylor, all over the place. And I think that's everything. My beautiful pumpkins, have a fantastic, magical, amazing rest of your day. I don't know if I said it already, so I'm going to say it again. Please do not forget, when you stand on your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. And I'll talk to you next time. Bye, pumpkin. Hello there, pile number 3. If you chose the pumpkin, the orange pumpkin, this is going to be your reading. So what you need to release at this time. Now, I know these cards are a little hard to see, and as I told every other pile, the other cards will be easier to see, number 1, and number 2, I feel like we just really do need to upgrade the camera on this channel and start dedicating a budget towards it again, because I know that these cards will show up. It's the camera. So I do apologize. I've done everything I can to include upgrade my lighting. So I think it's just time. We're going to have to end up investing in a new camera soon. But in any case, I'm still more than happy to tell you about them. And then, like I said, the other cards will be significantly more visible. I also want to say, for you specifically, pile number 3, it is a hot day in the Pacific Northwest where I live, and I'm going to do my best to edit the fan sounds out, but there is a fan blowing on me. So if the audio is a little different for your pile, that's why. So we have the Conqueror of Swords, the 5 of Coins, the Sun, and the Sovereign of Swords. I really get the sense that you are being told to release the mental turmoil. And this is a lot easier said than done. Trust me, as somebody that really struggles with my own mental health quite frequently, it's really hard once your mind has attached to a thought or an idea to just drop that. You know, telling somebody to just stop thinking about it works about as well as baptizing a cat. So I'm not trying to tell you that this is easy work, that it's something you're just going to be able to blink and it's going to happen. But I will tell you this, if you do put consistent effort towards shifting your mental intellect, and even if you have thought spirals of things that really feel like they're just out of control all the time, I want to pose a challenge to you. And please, 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 as always, please know that I am not a therapist. Please do not use my readings as therapy. I am not a licensed trained professional. I always have to say that for legal reasons, even though I love psychology and I am well versed because I did do a lot of study. Please just know that that's, you can't use my readings in that way. Like you actually have to go and speak to a licensed professional. But the thing that I will tell you, even just working through my own mental mayhem that Spirit is asking me to share with you, is that number one, if you are feeling the feelings of anxiety, of mental turmoil, I would ask you to check in with your body. How does your body feel? Do you feel these sensations anywhere in the body? For myself, I notice that when I feel some type of way, it's usually my upper stomach or my lower stomach that's carrying the feelings of the like anxious tightness, right? For you, it might be different. It might be in the heart, it might be in the throat, it could be up in the third eye, it could be up in the crown. It could be down in the root. That's very, very common. I would encourage you to learn more about the chakra system if you're unaware and really just notice where that feeling is coming up and say, hey, I'm here for you. Like, I'm like sitting with that discomfort. It's difficult work, but the more that you allow, the more and more that tightness or that anxiousness or that worry is going to start to unfurl. And it's not easy work. I'm not telling you this is something that's going to be simple, that you're going to do it once and it's going to be better. It's work that takes dedication and being with yourself. And it's interesting too, because this sun card, I don't know how well you can see it, but I want you to notice that the hands of this sun card, they look like they're laced and like maybe placed over a lap or something. And I feel like even just using your hands as like a gentle touch on your body, giving a soft nudge to that space that maybe you're carrying all of these feelings, because you're not just all up in the head. As much as we want to believe that it's our brain's fault, our body is also trying to send signals constantly. And for the longest time, we have believed that the realm of psychology and thought is all a mental map that we need to talk through. And though talk therapy is extremely beneficial, it often negates the body. And we are an entire human being. We are not just a floating head. So bringing the body into the practice of just being with yourself and being with the discomfort is step number one. Step number two is going to be starting to unfurl the story. Now, if you don't have a really strong, compassionate voice in your head already that is able to guide you, this is where you need to start, is creating that compassionate voice. But if you do already have one and you know how to mother yourself or father yourself, this is the time where you would come in with that compassionate voice and remind yourself, hey, it's okay. It's all right that this thought is coming up. It's all right that this thing that feels out of my control is out of my control right now. I'm going to be present with me. I'm going to create space and peace within myself and challenge the thoughts that come up. If there's a thought that comes up that you just can't seem to get away from and you constantly play it on repeat and it's something that is either harmful to you or harmful to your situation, try to allow yourself to imagine how it could work out differently, how there could be a pathway out, how like and I think pile number two, we talked about this a little bit. Something I will always ask myself is what would make my body feel safe, even if it's something that I don't want to admit to myself. What in this moment would make my body feel safe as I'm dealing with this? Even if it's, I would have to quit my job. I would have to move into the wilderness. I would have to divorce my spouse. I would have to, even if it's a big, scary thing that we don't want to think about, that's step number one, is let that big, scary thought come out. And then we can start to devise a plan of how we'll do that. Or, there is going to be a lot of resistance. You will be met with resistance when you do these exercises, but ultimately, you are the only person that is coming for you. You are the only person that is going to be able to pull you out of this situation. And yes, you can find people that can help you. I'm always going to recommend a therapist if you're able. I understand that that's not accessible to everyone. Or going to like a trusted family member, a trusted friend, or gaining new tools in your toolbox, which is what you're doing here right now by hearing all of this. there's always things that you can add so that you can help yourself. But ultimately, at the end of the day, your healing journey and your ability to release right now, it is an inside job. It is what you have to show up to for yourself. And your life is not going to be, gosh, there's a really great track by Tony something or other. I talked about her in another card pile as well. I want to say it's called like Healing is not my life or something. And it's all about how healing, I'll make sure that I like put the track in, or at least credit it down below so you can listen to it if this is resonating with you. But it's all about how like healing is great, healing is amazing, and we need that, but also you don't have to make your life all about healing. It's okay to work on healing, but it's also okay just to exist as a human being. And it is not going to be your life's work to constantly be picking yourself apart and shifting and changing things. Eventually, things do get easier, and you might be met with new problems in the future that you'll need to heal from. But right now, with what you're dealing with, this will not be forever. And it's really important that you show up for yourself, because with this 5 of coins here, this to me tells me that you're really down in the dumps about this. You're really like down in the dumps doesn't even begin to cover it. You are extremely down. And because of that, your mind is kind of racing and doing the absolute most. Like, I want to say the Conqueror of Swords and the Sovereign of Swords, this is the King and Queen of Swords. And if we're seeing this as a letting go, there's a lot going on. Now, the other thing, and I don't laugh because I'm trying to be disrespectful. I tell this to everybody. I'm a Gemini moon. I get the funeral giggles. Like, I laugh when things are uncomfortable. I'm sorry. I'm not making fun of you, I promise. But the other thing with these sword cards is this also could be that you have put up too much protection around you. Meaning, don't get me wrong, protection is great, but there's a difference between a boundary and a wall. A boundary is, we don't let people cross those to keep ourselves safe. A wall shuts every single person out. And I get the sense that you have really high defenses. You have very high defenses, especially verbal or like mental, physical defenses. Verbal, I would say more than anything else. And it's actually not letting the people in that want to give you love and appreciation in. This can even come in the form of really heavy cynicism, like being very cynical. Maybe you're somebody that's like, oh, screw talking to a therapist. They don't know what they're talking about. They'll never be able to help me. I'm a special case and I will never be able to be helped. And that is a defense. That is a defense already right there, that you tell yourself, and it keeps you, like that story keeps you from actually improving where you would like to improve. So I feel like releasing these defenses and releasing the kind of the mental mayhem that's going on. There's a lot of like spiraling thoughts. I can't get out of this. I'm stuck in this. And don't get me wrong, when it comes to a victim mentality, I always will tell you this. We have to be the victim before we can be the hero. And I think a lot of people will demonize victimhood because sometimes we do become victims and we'll be stuck there. And that can be a cause for a lot of destruction, not only of the self, but of the people around us. We hurt the people around us by doing that too. That's in like a very extreme case. But sometimes we need to throw the pity party. Sometimes we need to sit in the victimhood. Sometimes we need to hit that rock bottom so that we can start to understand where we need to rise up. And I feel like for you, that might be where you are right now. You're reaching this very, very deep, deep depth, but eventually you are going to come up. And the sun is here to remind you of that. That even though we're doing a lot of releasing, you don't want to release the sun. The sun is literally like joy. It is feeling vitality. This to me really comes through, and you're the only person that got one of these. This to me is telling you that you will find joy and vitality again, and that you are worthy and worth it, but you need to start being an active participant in creating the life that you desire, no matter what it looks like. If you have to hire help, hire help. Like if you have to stop doing something in particular, like maybe there's like a line of your work that you need to cut out. Maybe there's a person you need to cut out. Whatever it is, you do need to basically just really start putting yourself first, because you deserve to. But also, it's all a delicate balance, because even if we're cutting people out, remember that there's a difference between a boundary and a wall. Now, the next things we have for you are the first quarter moon in Gemini, speak your world into being. New moon in Libra, know that you are loved. Break through the tension, full moon in Scorpio. So if there's anybody that you're not speaking to, don't get me wrong. If there's somebody you shouldn't be speaking to, like you've gone no contact with a family member or something, I'm never going to tell you to go back to that abusive or toxic family member. I do not subscribe to that. I will tell you to stick to it and you keep yourself safe. However, if there's somebody that you could talk to, that you could have a reasonable discussion with, that needs to be worked out, that you've been avoiding, you need to break through the tension and allow yourself to come in and change it with that person. And you will know if this is you. If you don't need to be speaking to an ex, or like I said, a family member you've got no contact with, or an old friend, like don't do that to yourself. But ultimately, there might be for some of you someone that you do need to speak to, that it's causing a lot of tension in your life because you haven't set it free. And with first quarter moon in Gemini, y'all have this reading that's like, here's what to release, but also here's what to gain. So first quarter moon in Gemini, we have speak your world into being. And this to me states that your manifestation power is in your throat. You have the ability, with what you speak and like pray over your life actually happens. It's not just about thinking or meditating on it. You are someone that when you speak it, it happens. And one of like the greatest examples I have of this for you is there was a time period in my life where I had like negative dollars to my account, and me and my husband were struggling, and I don't even remember how I got into the mindset. I'm pretty sure I was following Manifestation Babe or something, and I was like doing one of her techniques, and I would go to the mall and walk because that was how I got steps in every day for just like getting activity, because it was cooler inside and it was really hot outside. And I would go to the mall with my no money, and I would just walk past every window and say, I'm rich, I can afford that. I'm rich, I can afford that. I'm rich, I can afford that. And I would really feel it though. I wouldn't just like say it and lie to myself. I would really feel it and imagine myself putting on new clothes, and imagine myself getting that cute little hot girl water bottle, and imagine myself playing with those Legos because I'm a big fan of those. You know, I would really feel into the narrative. And that same week that I started this exercise, my husband got a promotion and like a $2,000 bonus, and it cleared up our account, and we did have a bunch of excess, and I was rich and I could afford it. So my point to that is like, speak your manifestations into being. It can happen that way. And with new moon in Libra, know you are loved. If you have been putting up walls and shutting every single person out, this is a reminder to you once again that you are loved. There are people that want to support you, that want to love you, but you have to be willing to take that first step and allow. And then we have exchanging gifts and regeneration. So you're about to have your comeback era for sure, because that's what regeneration is. It's like we've been broken and burned down, and you're about to come into this like fully regenerating your stock, fully regenerating yourself, fully stepping into your power, basically. Because, you know, after the fire comes the rainstorm, comes the regrowth. You know, when forests catch on fire, that's what happens. They turn into ash, and that ash actually gives nutrition to the soil, and new growth happens. So this to me is really, if we're talking about letting go, let go of the idea that you can't rise again. Let go of this idea that you have failed and now you're going to stay down. You're not. I promise. I promise. I promise. I promise. You are not going to just stay down. Then we have exchanging gifts, and I feel like exchanging gifts, listen, some of y'all are just stressing about buying a gift for someone, and you're afraid that they're going to be like unhappy with what you got for them. If they do feel some type of way, please know that that says more about them than it does about you. Now, there can be real internal wounding on some people's behalf where like maybe they have a trauma around receiving gifts that were just not really heartfelt from a parent. Like, it's like on your birthday when you receive a single old hair tie instead of the Barbie doll house that you really wanted. It can trigger internal wounds and people feel like they're not cared about. That's their own thing though, still. That has nothing to do with you. That's their own thing and something that they need to work through. You giving somebody a gift, and even if you really thought hard about it, put a lot into it, you need to let go of the idea that you have to be the person that is the source of this person's joy. And for the rest of y'all that you're not purchasing gifts for anybody right now, with exchanging gifts, this is about y'all need to try something. Hear me out. I want to say that this is something I learned from the Gem Goddess here on YouTube, but it's asking your guides for a gift. Just, you could ask for something specific if you wanted, but asking them for a gift and then forget about it. Literally forget about it, put it out of your mind, but tell them, I need to know without a shadow of a doubt that this gift came from you. And then let it go. And I promise a gift will show up and you will know. You will remember, oh, I asked for this. The Gem Goddess has a really incredible story about like a specific pair of shoes that she wanted that her mom wouldn't buy for her. And then randomly they were like out by a pool, left overnight, brand new. And like her mom didn't do that. Nobody else was there to claim them. I think she even like asked around if they were somebody else's, and they were her exact size, brand new, same exact shoe. Like things like that do happen. The universe will put gifts in front of you that, and it was something that she'd already previously desired, but then completely forgot about. So the reason why Spirit is asking you to do this is because it will increase your belief. And your belief is what is going to allow you to empower yourself enough to get out of this mental turmoil that you've been dealing with. You need to believe in I don't want to say a higher power, because I don't think everybody needs to do that. I think belief is up to the beholder of belief. But believing even just that good things can happen to you will start a trickle effect. So believe that like gifts are coming, that you can receive, and just put it out there and see what happens. Then we have for you confidence, ideation, and passion. This is interesting. Oh, I know exactly what this is. Okay, so what you need to let go of is this idea that you have to be a specific kind of person to manifest. That you have to be somebody who is passionate and engaged with life and has the best ideas and is the most confident in your energy and what you can do. You have let these social media accounts poison your mind in thinking that you have to be a specific kind of person in order to feel good about your life. You don't. You do not have to be the most passionate. You don't even have to have your purpose figured out. You do not have to buy into the ideation that other people sell to you. And you do not have to be confident in your ability to do it. I don't know if y'all watched my mental health video that I put out like maybe a month ago. I'm not actually sure when that went out. I don't know if y'all watched that, but I said something in that video that I really do believe and live by. You can be anxious and manifest. You can be depressed and manifest. You can it is some bullshit that we teach ourselves that we have to be in this high vibrational on top of the world state to make things in our life happen or to shift ourselves in that direction. Granted, it might make things easier sometimes if we feel good, but you don't have to be the most confident version of yourself to manifest. You don't have to believe in the ideation that other people have sold to you, and you do not have to be passionate. Again, those things can help, but you can start right where you are right now. The only thing that you need to know is that nobody else is coming to save you. You have to be an active participant in saving yourself. That is the most important lesson that is coming with your reading file number 3, is that yes, you have your guides. Yes, you can ask for help. Yes, you can gain tools, but the work that has to be put in, you have to be the one who decides to do it. And it's not going to look like what anybody else's what anybody else's path looks like, because it's yours. Now, I want to read this next card from the book because these cards are just so cool and their meanings are so fabulous. You got the card of Chaos. I love this deck, and it's constantly sold out because it's a great deck. Threads of Fate. They actually didn't send me this one. I bought this one, but they did send me some other decks, like this one back here. They sent me, and they're just incredible. I love Threads of Fate. So you got the card of Chaos. I'm just looking for it in the book really quick. Okay. Chaos. We each have our own chaos. The goal is not to let it rule you. So exactly what we've been talking about. It's easy to put in the junk drawer of our mind. It's easy to put it in the junk drawer of our mind to revisit it another time. The problem is that we can't predict when that drawer opens. It can leak out of us, beckoning us to follow. For some of us, it's intoxicating, an old lover that gives us a high. For others, it looks like the snarling of a wolf ready to rip us apart. But name the chaos. Acknowledge it for what it truly is, even if it scares you, even if you're dancing with it in a way that you know you shouldn't. A little too close for comfort. Let it know what you see, or that you see it. Living in that shadow can be necessary. Sometimes the only way out of the pattern is through. But don't dress it up to make it more acceptable. Don't say you're in love when you know you're a drug. You may not be able to muster enough energy to change in the moment, but at the very least, call it what it is. Sometimes that is all that's needed to take the steam out of the engine, to put a little more weight on the brakes. And this is interesting that this is coming up for you, y'all, because something that this really reminds me of is I always feel called to share experience with y'all. Some of you hate this, some of you love it. I don't know why I always acknowledge the haters. Probably because there's a part of me that feels guilty because I don't want to co-opt your reading or your story. But many of you tell me that you really enjoy when I share experience because it helps you learn. And that's ultimately how I learn too. So I'm going to share. But with Chaos, what this reminds me of in my own life is I get into these modes where I become a workaholic, and I will be pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing, doing private readings, doing YouTube content, doing Patreon content, doing a podcast, keeping up with social media, being a good friend, being a spouse, being a housewife. Like, I get into all these different modes, and then there's no time left for me. And I'll tell myself, it's okay. This is what success looks like. It's okay. Like, I'm getting all my work done. I'm being the best me that I can be. I'm superhuman. I'll tell myself all these lies as to why committing to this chaotic way of being makes sense. Why putting myself last makes sense. But at the end of the day, I end up more pissed off. I'm not a good friend because I can't be present. I'm not a good partner because I can't be present. I become less of a good reader because I can't be present. I become like, it hampers and dampers all of my ability to be a functioning human when I act like this. And many of us do this, especially my entrepreneur babes. But even if you are working a 9 to 5, also taking care of your kids, also being a wife or a partner to somebody or a husband or, aunt, uncle, cousin, whatever, all of these different roles that we fill. Even if you are also doing all of that, I feel like it's still the same. Like, we are overworking and committing to chaos, putting ourselves as very last on the list because we feel bad for putting ourselves ahead. And the thing is, when you close the door on the things that you actually don't want, even if it's really, really, really hard to shut the door, you make room for yourself. You make room to shape this chaos in a new way. For example, let's say you're really up in your mind, right? And I'm telling you to get into the body, to ask the body. Maybe you have a lot of resistance there to be like, no, I don't want to talk to my body. I don't have time for that. I need to go do this for my kids. I need to go do this for my partner. I have to think about work tomorrow. The dry cleaning needs picked up. You give yourself all these reasons, all of these reasons why you cannot take 3 to 5 minutes just to tap into your body. I promise you, when you start to commit to those 3 to 5 minutes, it will be a snowball effect of positive effect. It will start to transform your life. And I know this because I've done this myself. I don't give you information that hasn't been trialed and errored. And maybe we're not the same. We don't have the same problems. But once you start to pull the thread of all of the uncomfortability and unwind it, it will start to get easier. It will unfurl. You will tap back into life again and feel good about yourself. It just takes consistent efforts, and you have to be willing to shut the door. Even if you have every reason in the world not to commit to yourself, you have to be willing to shut the door and start putting it into practice. It's going to be hard at first. It's going to be some of the hardest shit you've ever committed to in the beginning. But give it 2 weeks. It'll be the easiest thing you did. You won't be able to wake up and not think about yourself. You won't be able to go to bed and not think about yourself. And the best way, if you're somebody that like this is really like, I'm hitting the nail on the head. Granted, I know we don't have the same lives. You probably have a dramatically different schedule. But something that I had to realize is I couldn't do like 9 readings a day. I couldn't read 3 private clients, do a pick a card on YouTube, and make a Patreon video. That's just chaos. It's way too much work for any one person, especially when your work is really about channeling and giving. It can be very draining to work like that. And I realized I had to start committing to 4 a day. So if that's 3 piles here and 1 private reading, that's it. That's the 4 a day. I spend about 4 hours of my day doing this stuff with a break in between. And outside of that, I'm able to think about other things. I'm able to create new ways of being. I'm able to basically tell you how much easier this gets. And for you, maybe it's 8 hours, with a break in between. Maybe it's committing to a little bit more. For me, I'm a very highly sensitive individual. Anything beyond 4 hours, I'm not giving my best work. And I hate that feeling. I like to give 110 with everything that I do. So for you, it might be a little bit different. Maybe you have to commit more hours to certain places. But prior to me making these changes in my own life, y'all already know, if you listen to the podcast that's going to come out, it's already out. If this video's out, it came out this week. Your girl was depressed. She was not okay. She was hypervigilant, anxious 24/7, not being good in any area of my life. And I say good with big quotes because what does even being good mean? But you know what I mean. And now that I've implemented these changes, even though it's been really hard to put myself first, I've noticed that even in the morning, I have the time and energy to get creative with my breakfast. I made something totally random today that came out of my mind that probably already exists in the world. But I made I put thinly sliced potatoes in the bottom of my pan and then cooked eggs over top. And it was so good. I never would have had the time for that normally. I would have rushed into work. Same with even my evenings. I have time to actually play video games that I want to play. I have time to be in the Discord talking to all of you. I have time to commit to these other areas of my life. I want to spend time petting my cats. I want to spend time making new fun drinks in my kitchen. I want to spend time cooking elegant dinners, which is something that I enjoy, So whatever it is for you, maybe you hate all of those things, minus the cat. Everybody loves animals. But maybe for you, it looks completely different. But when you start to starve the chaos and actually put effort into yourself, eventually it becomes natural. Eventually it becomes normal. Eventually when you do it, you don't feel anxiety taking that space or worry or stress. It starts to become second nature. I'm not even fully there yet. I still feel a little weird when I'm taking time for me, but it's a lot better than it was 2 weeks ago. It's much, much, much easier to take time for me, and I'm slowly getting better. And that's going to be your experience too with whatever your situation is like. So how can you reduce the chaos and commit to yourself? Even if you just pick one practice every day, something that actually brings you joy, even if you have to sit there and be uncomfortable while you're doing it, eventually you will not be uncomfortable. You will look forward to it, but it's going to take consistent and conscious effort. Now, the last 2 things I have for you are a couple of affirmations. We have, through prayer and meditation, I create a ripple effect of peace in the world. And there is a stream of love supporting my dreams. So this could be, I feel like the stream of love really is your guides. It's your spiritual support system, your spiritual team. It might also be people that you're connected to if you feel like you have that support system. But there really is a stream of love that you have been blocking out. And you need to remind yourself there is a stream of love supporting your dreams that you always have access to. And through meditation and prayer, I never want to tell anybody that has like religious trauma that you need to pray. So please know that this is not the channel that's going to ask you to do that. But if prayer feels good to you, even if you're not praying to God, or maybe you are praying to God, do what feels good. If meditation feels good, get into that. Even if it's just 1 minute a day, you will create a ripple effect in the world, but you'll also create a ripple effect in your life, which I think is really where you are right now. So that is what I have for you, pile number 3. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please do not forget, when you stand on your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. Don't forget to check out Keen and use my link, trykeen.com/KhloeTarot, for your first 10 minutes for only $1.99, saving you up to $99, which is insane. And don't forget to check out the second half of this reading, which is over on Totally Kayt's channel, where she will be doing a reading for you as well. And like, you get to pick again. And she's just so sweet. Please tell her that I sent you. Make sure you tell her that I sent you and give her so much love and support, because she is wonderful. If you would like to support me, y'all, please join the Discord, where it's free. Literally, it's free on mobile, it's free on desktop. No gimmicks, no tricks, none of that. It is literally just a platform where we have a bunch of chats that you can join to talk to other community members from the pumpkin patch. We have a food chat, we have a general chat, we have an introduce yourself, we have an emotional venting space, and we're adding more constantly. So please, please join. Like I said, it's free. I'm in there every day talking to y'all all the time. Please, if you would like to support me, check out the Patreon. There is weekly energy that goes out every week, Patreon exclusives, bonus content, a book club, and so much more. I literally put new things on my Patreon every single week. There are different tiers depending on where you are. On July 31st, we're going to be doing Summer Ween this week, where we're doing a wine and paint night together as a community. You do have to be at the Cosmic Pumpkin tier to receive that, but I'm really looking forward to it. We're doing it on Zoom, so y'all can share your art as well. If you don't want to share any art, you can just lurk, but I'm really excited to be there. I'm going to be there. My husband's going to be there making art. It's going to be a really good time. So please come and join the Patreon. I honestly would feel like, think of it like buying a ticket to come to an event for $11, but your ticket also gets you a huge library of weekly readings, exclusive readings, and all kinds of extra stuff. So please come. Don't let me be there alone painting by myself. I mean, I guess my spouse will be there, but please come and hang out. It would be such a good time. Again, more info on that on the Patreon. And if you would like to support me even further, because you are a freaking angel, I do have my Cashapp, Venmo, and PayPal listed down below. So if you would like to tip me for my readings, I certainly appreciate it, but I do not expect it. I also have my wish list, where I also shop for myself from my wish list. So it's like a list that I use too, but there's like card decks on it, there's energy drinks on it, there's computer equipment on it, there's books on it, things that really help support the channel that we can use to like do more. That's where my camera is that I'm eventually going to buy too. But if you would like to support me in that way, again, no expectation, but I certainly appreciate it. And if you would like to book a private reading with me, please be sure to book on KhloeTaylor.com. It's the only place that you can book. I will never personally solicit you for a reading. You can only book through my website. And I'm also at Kloee Taylor all over the web, Instagram, TikTok. There are a lot of scammer accounts that are out that are not me, but I would certainly love to have you on my page. So in any case, I love you so much, Pumpkin, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Thank you so much for sticking around to hear the longest outro of your life. And I hope to see you in other spaces around the web, so you can come and be even more a part of our community. And thank you again so much to Keen for sponsoring today's video, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye!